Okay, everybody. So it is like midnight where I am, and I have a flight in like 4 hours, and I really should be sleeping. But guess what? GTA 6 leaked again. You can't make this up. Now, for obvious reasons, I can't show the leaks here. So I'm going to describe them. I can't show them because, of course, Take-Two and Rockstar will strike everything. And while I don't think anything that leaked is like particularly bad or spoilery or anything, we're not gonna show it, okay? But if you're resourceful, I'm sure you can figure it out. What has dropped are a couple of key pieces of information, namely the entire map leaked. It looks like the mapping project was very, very close. But it's that there's some gameplay snippets that have leaked as well that showcase some tidbits of gameplay that we had not seen before, such as like a basketball mini game, some driving and melee combat. But it appears the leaker is saying that this is from a build that came from late 2023. And how they got it, how they have access to it, what that means is all still up in the air. This is like breaking right as we're here. We do know that the person responsible for this is pairing it with information saying they allegedly have more leaks and more clips and stuff to share, and that they will share them if Rockstar does not issue like an apology to gamers for the no physical disc in the physical box. They're demanding pre-orders include physical media, things like that. I don't know how much of that is actually from the original leaker or if it's being co-opted by other people. Again, this is very new. This is very fresh. We're trying to figure it out as this goes by. But there are two gameplay clips that I'm aware of that have leaked, and the map itself. Now, the map itself, again, very closely matches what the mapping project has demonstrated already. We've looked at that a bunch on stream. It more clearly outlines the northern portion of the map, but the mapping project was already pretty close with their guesses. So the rough size of the map, the scale of the map, all of that holds true. It's in line with expectations. Nothing crazy. There are a couple of interesting little tidbits in there and potential surprises, but it looks like the mapping project was pretty much in the ballpark. Beyond that, the gameplay snippets that were revealed showcase and reveal a couple of interesting things that we already knew about if you followed GTA 6 development stuff, if you were aware of some of the broader design changes. Most notably and significantly, again, this isn't a surprise to, I think, people who have followed this closely, but if you're not familiar, I'll just lay it out plainly. This is much more Red Dead 2 than it is GTA 5, okay? Just right at the outset, we have to be clear about that. This build is from late 2023. That's important to understand because that will be 3 years old by the time the game launches. Most games are not playable 3 years away from launch. Most games are like in a really rough spot, an early spot 3 years out. So the fact that this was playable in late 2023 shows how much time they've spent polishing, optimizing, etc., etc. And I think that that's awesome. That's good. But I think we also should take everything that we are seeing and that we're going to discuss in the next little bit with a grain of salt, because things could have changed as they polished and improved stuff. So number one, it appears that vehicles are going to have, they're going to be much more delicate than in like GTA 5, for example. They are going to also inflict damage potentially on player characters when you're driving and get into a fender bender, not just like when you get ejected out of the vehicle, but like if you get in a bad rear ending or something, it could deal health damage to the player. It appears that once again the inventory system has been overhauled to be much more in line with Red Dead Redemption 2's inventory system. So for example, your car is sort of your center base, just like in Red Dead. In Red Dead, if you want to swap from your shotgun and bow to a sniper rifle and carbine, you've got to go back to your horse or call your horse to you and then swap out the guns at the saddle, right? It's going to work similarly here, where if you want to swap from the AK-47 to the bazooka, you have to go back and you need that equipped to your vehicle to take it out and use it. They don't want you to just have like the circular wheel where you pull out 15,000 different weapons out of your butt crack. Like that's a thing of the past. Again, much more Red Dead 2 than GTA 5. A lot of the other more minor mechanics, the movement looks to be very, very similar to Red Dead 2. They actually appear to have recycled many of the animations from Red Dead 2, which makes sense, specifically for Jason's movement. A lot of it is just Arthur Morgan's walking animations and stuff. Again, it makes sense, reuse those. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's walking, it'll be okay. But overall, it again appears to be very Red Dead and much less arcadey GTA 5, which some people are going to be very excited about. I'm one of those people. Others who were hoping for the GTA 5 silliness and goofiness and kind of maybe cartoony vibes might be disappointed to hear that. I would expect other things like vehicle handling, controlling the, again, I've mentioned it before, the motorcycle thing where you can like flip the wheels up so the underside of the bike is facing the sky. That in GTA 5 gives you like lift to actually go up. And so you can fly across the map basically by flipping the motorcycle upside down when you start doing it. If you've never seen the trick compilations and stuff of people doing it, you must be living under a rock, because they were very, very popular about 10 years ago. But that I would expect is completely gone. I think that they are going to really try to ground this, and that also is reflected in things like the traffic being more dense. They're not going to have you going 150 miles an hour down the freeway, because they are simulating like freeway traffic and stuff. So it's going to be a very different kind of game than I think some people are expecting. Other things we got from the leaks are, you know, confirmation of some other things that we thought, which is that there's going to be mini games in all sorts of different ways. Basketball is the one showcased in the current round of leaks, but there's expected to be other things like scuba diving, fishing, jet ski riding and races for all of that, etc., etc. Overall, having looked at this, my takeaway, number one, it looks very Red Dead. Okay, it very much looks like it was built on the back of Red Dead 2, and then they kind of went from there and they started adding new stuff, but it very much, at least in these leaks, had the skeleton of Red Dead. Which I'm okay with, but again, it's much slower. If you've played GTA 5 and you compare it to Red Dead 2, it's a much slower, more methodical game, and that seems to be what GTA 6 is going to be. So I expect that it's going to slow players down a lot more than they might be expecting. Number two, this was playable, according to the alleged leaker, in late 2023, which is crazy, okay? So like this is right around the time of them preparing and launching the first trailer and putting that out there. This is a pretty early time period for the game to be as playable as it appeared to be in this footage. That being said, 3 years of dev time is a long time. As I mentioned earlier, most studios, I was just talking to a dev earlier tonight when like this started to happen. Most studios don't even have like a playable version of the game 3 years out. Usually it's like still in like early betas. You're still operating largely in gray boxes. You've got the skeletons of things laid out, but it's like really early. For them to have the game like this built out, as we saw in the leaks, with these like all these systems interconnecting and working the way that they were 3 years before launch, I mean that's pretty remarkable. And I would not be surprised if a lot of stuff has changed in the last 3 years that we maybe were not we won't see in the leaks, because obviously the leaks are of a in development build. Things can change and evolve very, very quickly in this space, especially when you're talking about Rockstar, who has thousands upon thousands of developers working on it. I guess the primary takeaway would be, if you're looking at these leaks and you think you know what GTA 6 of 2026 is going to be like, no, there's going to be a lot more bells and whistles. It will be a lot more refined. So if you're thinking of like nitpicking the animations, nitpicking how fist fighting was working, nitpicking the driving, burnout that happens when the car spins around. If you're thinking of nitpicking that stuff that's shown in the leaks, I would pump the brakes. I'd hold off, because I think that all of that is going to be significantly improved. However, the big picture stuff that's demonstrated in the leaks, that was demonstrated in the leaks back in 2022, that's been confirmed with like developer interviews, or with other things like the patents that Rockstar, or rather Take-Two, filed with all sorts of new technology that they've developed. All of that suggests, again, that this is a much less arcadey game. They're leaning much more into realism. And again, that's going to frustrate some people and excite others. But just prepare yourself for this to be a much less goofy, silly ragdoll game and much more Red Dead 2, grounded storytelling, that type of game. I think it's going to be fantastic. I mean, it's Rockstar. But I do think that there's going to be a good number of people that are expecting it to be basically just GTA 5 2.0, and that's not what it is. This is not one of those situations where it's like, just do Skyrim 2. That's not what they're doing. They're going to try to evolve the formula, and that's what they seem to be doing with all of the learnings from Red Dead 2. And I'm very interested in it. I'm very excited. But I do feel for the devs. Now, beyond all of this, like I said, the map also was leaked with a good amount of detail. It's pretty impressive how close it matches the mapping project. The guys over there were very, very close, it appears, if this map is legitimate. Some people say that it feels small and the map feels small. Maybe, I guess we'll see when the game launches. But again, I think if you were playing this map the way you played GTA 5, it might feel small. We do know that if you scale it accordingly, it is significantly larger than the map of GTA 5. It's larger than the map of Red Dead 2. It's a big map. The question is just if you can traverse it quickly with like planes, bikes, motorcycles, and cars. It may not feel that big, but I think it will. In a recent video, I actually pulled up a project done by a very talented player and actually a fan called No Asden, who actually rebuilt the entire community mapping project map of GTA 6 in City Skylines 2. And because you can download a mod to get first-person perspective and walk around like an NPC, you can actually download this one-to-one scale map of GTA 6, walk around and explore the city in first person and see what it would be like if you were to like actually walk around with things scaled properly. And when you do that, you realize how freaking big that map is. It's really easy to look at a literal like picture and conclude, looks small, but it's not that simple. If you look at the map of Red Dead 2, you're like, I don't know, it looks pretty small and simple to me. And then you get in that world and it does not feel small. So I'll just say withhold judgment on that, because I think it's going to surprise you. Overall, though, I think Rockstar, I'm sure they are frustrated right now. Like, one of the questions that immediately popped in my mind was like the Netflix deal with them having the deep dive, extensive look, whatever. If they had as part of that deal, like the map reveal as part of that, I'm sure Netflix is not happy right now. I mean, I'm sure even if they didn't have like the map reveal as an exclusive for Netflix, or even if they didn't have this or that exclusive, Netflix, I'm sure, isn't happy, because this has taken away their thunder. This has taken away attention from that first look. It's not great. So I don't envy the people over at Rockstar. They're definitely frantically trying to figure out what's going on. But I don't think that this leak like changes anything. I don't think it kills any hype. At least I'd be surprised if it killed anybody's hype. It's development footage from 3 years ago. Like, it's not finished. Like, literally, it's not finished. So I think it's just interesting to see where it was back then, and I'm still very intrigued to see where it is today. In about like what, a week and a half, when we get that deep dive, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, it's another Luke trip where there's a GTA 6 leak. Like, seriously, dude, it's unreal. Almost every big trip I take, there is a GTA 6 related drop, whether it's a trailer or a leak of some sort. It's frankly remarkable. And the fact that this happened on the last day is like kind of poetic. It's beautiful, really. But anyway, I'm headed back home tomorrow morning, or I guess this morning. It's late, and I can't wait to get home and start streaming again and get back into our regular kind of groove of things. I've missed you all dearly, and it's been a good time traveling Europe and exploring it with the family. But I'm ready to get back and get back in the swing of things. So thank you for putting up with all of it. Thanks for being patient. We've got a ton of stuff coming in the next handful of weeks, and September is going to be ridiculous. So thank you for being here with me for all of that. Much love. I'll see you in the next one. Let me know what you think of all of this stuff in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.
He took my thing.